Kamunabi Honbu. Hello everybody, this is Karasu back with episode 2 of the Kamunabi Headquarters. Currently on call with my friend Edo Sarafino, holding it down for Italy. Ciao amico, come stai oggi?
Actually, it's OG. But I'm
OG.
actually
Oh,
pretty good.
it's OG. Okay, I was close, but not quite.
Yeah.
So how have you...
Don't worry.
Right. So how are you? How's the weather in Italy right now?
Well, it's pretty shitty, I gotta admit. This week has been raining a lot,
You said it's been...
especially in my region.
Oh yeah, you live in Venice, don't you?
Yeah, actually near Venice. In Venice, it's the weather is clear. Don't know how. Maybe because some wind or something. But yeah, here in the countryside, it's more shitty.
So it's been pretty rainy then. Well,
Yeah.
we are discussing the Sword Bearer Assassination arc today and everything that comes with it. So I guess we can just jump right into that. So I guess
Absolutely, yeah.
so the Rakuzaichi arc, it left off with Chihiro asking to join the Kamunabi, which, let's just start off by saying that was a real G move on his part, because even though he wanted to do it all on his own, and he wanted to, protect his father's legacy on his own, he recognized
Yeah,
fully that he couldn't do it himself. He couldn't create a seal like that. And I thought that was
exactly.
absolutely
That's a
incredible.
great, yeah.
It was very
And
sorry,
well,
continue.
I say it later on.
Yeah,
I
he's
have a
very...
little parallelism.
I'm sorry.
I have a little parallelism in mind, but we'll come to that later.
Right. And I just, I love how like adaptable and malleable he is as a character. Like he really is willing to do what needs to be done to get the job done. You know what I mean? And there's not very main characters that
Exactly.
fit that bill. So like, what did you think initially? Like, what were your thoughts when you saw like when he was in those handcuffs and he had to be brought out in front of, like, the panel of judges almost of the Kamunabi? Like, okay, out of everybody you've
Well,
seen
yeah.
there, who do you think is the traitor? Let's be honest. Who do you think the
The
traitor is?
trader.
Yes.
Well, from a writer perspective, I think that that little one with white hair with a black strip
Yes, the one
is
with the
the
glasses.
yeah. Since among the head tops of the Kamnabi,
Yes.
alongside with Shiba and Azami, but Azami is another possibility. But I think the little king is more probable because
Yeah.
apart from these two, is the one with that's missing the most.
Yeah, I see. I don't think, like, it would be crazy if Azami was the traitor, but I think it is also the little guy mainly because he is, what do you say? He's one of the few who we have personally met who we know hid Rokuhira.
Yeah.
So there's only 3 people that helped hide Rokuhira, and he's one of them. And he also told Samura not to worry. He was the one trying
Hey,
to keep Samura from worrying about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
the few people who has the
Another,
most access to the Magatsumi and the Tensei, the Sword Saint.
yeah. Another possibility, but this is more niche, is one of the one of the ones we've yet to know. Just because uh, Okazono could, uh, how can I say it, could make his character revolve around being the traitor, maybe with some Sete War flashback of him or her, because there is one girl among them, he or
Right.
her mm,
You know, I
suffering from the war.
Yeah, and like, so, like, personally, I don't think there's much stock in that theory, but I think it would be really interesting because, like, that would totally explain. The Masumi had been working under Samura for years after the war, so that would be interesting to see that one of them was the one who gave Yora his location. You know what I mean? That's a very interesting theory, actually.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
That,
But personally, I think that one said your name, Chihiro Kuhira, is the perfect ending for the anime.
no.
Even more, I'll tell you this. During the final conversation of Hyuki and Chihiro in front of the palace who's crumbled down, and that dialogue with the ending theme and the credits, and then after the credits, the post-credit scene is the chapter 45.
Oh yeah, so chapter 45, just remind me again what what happened in chapter 45 again? That was
Yeah, it's
was that
the one that starts with it's in my opinion one of the perfect start for an arc, which is
Oh,
Yura saying time for our next move, which is
yeah.
abso- is in just how are there in just 3 panels. Okazono managed to start an arc with emphasis.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely peak. Now, I have a feeling that Hokazono did not quite plan initially for Tobi Mune's third ability to be Suzaku, because of the way he drew
Well,
Chihiro's reaction to finding Uruha dead. If Chihiro knew about Suzaku first, he should have his first assumption should have been, oh,
right,
he
right.
killed him to disconnect him.
But to play along the Uruha is alive meme more than theory, uh, I want to point out when I don't know, I don't remember if it was Hakumi or Chihiro, which talked to Samura about Uruha, and Samura said he's okay, he's alive.
Yeah,
So
it almost seemed like he was saying that because he was like, well, like, we don't know if he's actually
I
alive. He's in the morgue right now, but like it wasn't specified further than that. You know what I mean?
read the chapters yesterday when I had some time, and no, the Samura says clearly he's alive.
That's I must have missed that. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to reread that now because I missed that.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like chapter 58.
Chapter 58. Okay, so Uruha's definitely alive. I mean, we know that for a fact. Because
Even
like,
as a character, he's he has a very good personality and a very good characterization to be used in only like 10 chapters.
no,
So
I
I think,
absolutely
yeah,
agree. I
we
absolutely agree.
we have, yeah, we have to see more of Uruha and his uh,
Dude,
Rokuhira sexuality.
I feel like he's gonna drop in there's going to be like a major battle and Chihiro's going to be getting his ass kicked and Uruha's going to come out of nowhere to save the day. And it's, I mean, I'm just inhaling cope at this point, but
Yeah.
no,
And
it would be cool.
when Samurai in that flashback explained how all the sword bearers' lives are connected to the sword saint.
Yes.
Uh, After he said that, I thought that yeah, this is clues, one more clue of the fact that we are still alive.
Oh,
And when
absolutely.
again when the Suzaku flames got explained by the fact that can heal, one we got an explanation of why Chihiro was alive after Samurai sliced him up like a piece of a cow.
He sliced him up good.
And even then, I thought, yeah, Uruha is still alive. Maybe he, the fact that he's alive is kept secret from even from the Kamunabis. Maybe like only Shiba and his mates know that Uruha is alive.
Yeah, I would think that's the case because the Kamunabi were trying to get access to his body for research and they couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Now let's talk for a second about the use of kanji for the Suzaku ability because when I first read that, I read it as sparrow.
Me too. Me too. I
Wh-
even did a post right asking why didn't they translate it as a sparrow? No, because apparently it's a real, a mythological creature,
yeah,
the Suzaku.
the vermilion bird.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
well, I thought this was cool. So in Japanese culture, there is a significance to the sparrow itself. Let's see. So in Japanese culture, the sparrow, known as Suzume, are symbolic of simplicity, joy, and prosperity as well, which are kind of ties in, with Samura's third ability in a way. So, like, even though it's specifically Suzaku or
Yeah.
Vermilion Bird, Suzume kind of works as well. I like where they went with the
Yeah. Yeah.
Vermilion
Yeah.
Bird, though. I thought that was the way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. And talking about the birds, I don't know if you remember the last conversation between Samura and Uruha before the
I
combat.
I remember bits and pieces of it. I remember
Uh,
Uruha saying something along the lines of like, "There's no doubt in his voice. I know he can do it." And then
yeah.
Samura said something along the lines of like, "They know about the sin we put the lid on all those years ago. They're about to bust the lid wide open."
Exactly. And now that can talk about it, the parallelism before the Rakuzaichi arc, Chihiro wanted to avenge his father all alone, and who's trying to achieve his uh, sorry, I don't remember the English term
Like
target.
his goals.
Yeah, goal all alone right now, Samura.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I absolutely love how in this arc, so when Chihiro pulled up out of the elevator rocking the Masumi suit was such a cold moment. I loved watching
Yeah,
him pull up out of the elevator with double swords on his back like it was nothing.
just one thing, one last thing about the solo campaign, let's call it like that. During the conversation between Samurai and Uruha, there's this panel of the, how are they called in English? Uh, Paravento.
Oh,
That
um,
that's like mm,
yeah, I don't
some
know that
sort
one.
of foldable walls of paper with paintings that used
Oh,
to separate.
yeah, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. God, I know the word for it too. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I just can't think of it. Um, what are those paintings called? Oh no.
Whatever. There's this one of a crow on a branch of a tree.
Yes.
And apart from the fact that it could be a foreshadowing of the crow ability,
Oh,
or
yes, for sure. Well,
uh,
so
I've looked up,
I always knew that
I looked
like
up what,
his. Sorry, continue.
no, you tell.
Okay, so I always knew that Toby Mune was gonna have something to do with birds because of its name. If you look at its
Yeah,
kanji,
yeah,
it seems like flying, soaring, to fly, and then like sect, faith, or
yeah, yeah,
religion. And so I just always assumed that,
yeah,
like the best English interpretation would be like soaring faith. And so I knew it was going to be
yeah,
something to do with flying creatures, it had to be.
yeah, yeah.
And if you looked at like even just
Talking
the
about
even just the suba of the blade were crow feathers, which I thought was really
absolutely
cool.
talking about that painting of a crow on a branch, I looked up what the symbolism is, and it's solitude.
Solitude.
So,
That's a little on the nose, isn't it?
absolutely,
That's
I
pretty
concur.
that's pretty on the nose for his character actually. Wow,
Yeah,
solitude.
and all of the I leave my daughter alone and the seal has her memories is another example of his solitude.
Yeah, he chose solitude for the safety of his daughter, which would, well,
And
kudos to him for being a good dad
that's one
and a bad
panel.
dad.
That's one panel. I alone, nobody else has to endure this pain or something like that. Which, in my personal opinion, reminds me of the I alone with another top from Bleach.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good parallel to draw. I didn't even think about that. It almost made me
But
think
yeah,
of it kind of made me think of Jujutsu Kaisen if you've seen it.
I seen. I'm
Hello.
okay.
Yep, I'm back. My computer just shut off for some reason. I have no idea what happened, but I think
Whatever.
I'm still recording. That's
Well,
incredible. It's still recording. Okay, I'll just edit that out later. Okay, what were you saying right before I cut off? I know it was important.
what was the last thing you heard from
Oh,
me?
that's right. So I was gonna make a comparison to Jujutsu Kaisen actually. So
Ah,
that moment with Samora actually kind of reminded me of like throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
well, but the one with Koji is more like I would not say God complex, but something like that. Samura is more of a monk, a Buddhist monk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, um, throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. That's something that the Buddha says in Journey to the West. If you are
Oh,
familiar.
I I still have to study uh, the all the philosophy of Buddhism.
Yeah, it's really cool. You should check it out. I highly recommend you read the story Journey to the West whenever you can. It's incredible.
Probably some professor will make me read it.
Maybe. Are you studying Buddhism in university?
Yeah, one of the classes is philosophy of a religion of Japan.
That's so cool.
So yeah,
That's so cool. What the hell? I want to do that.
I- just yesterday I discovered that my department that studies Japanese here is 150 years old.
What? That's
I
crazy.
knew that I knew that my university is old, but yeah, I thought that they started studying Japanese like 50 years ago, not basically during the Meiji era.
Yeah. Damn near the Tokugawa era. Oh my god.
Exactly, exactly.
That's crazy. I wonder if nah, most likely not. I was gonna say I wonder if they met any of the Shinsengumi, but but no. Okay, so I am so happy that in this arc we actually got to see the first two abilities of Kumeyuri. And I am so happy that it had something to do with sake and entertainment. I knew it. I absolutely. We talked about it. It was going to have something to do with sake and some form of entertainment because of the cultural significance of the geisha, for one, and then also the kanji itself, which was a very interesting choice on Hokuzono's part, I think.
Yeah, and that's the first thing we see of Kumeyuri is that banquet panel, which is amazing.
Yes. Well, it's
In
funny. I read that
indeed,
kanji as to
okay.
party. So like when
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
you're right. Which so I thought banquet was a very interesting choice for translation, but it fits really well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I
Cause
agree. I agree. Totally
right,
agree.
because what is a banquet if not a party?
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? Was it you to play or just play?
Yeah.
That one was
Yeah.
super
That
cool
is
too.
straight up translated.
Well, it makes me wonder what Kumeyuri's third ability is going to be, because the first one had to do with sake, and then the second one had to do with playing instruments, which are both things that geisha do. So I almost wonder, like, what is another traditional, you know, like, playhouse act that geisha do? You know what I mean?
I may be wrong, but if I don't remember bad, they played the Go. That one was some sort of Osaudon.
Oh, yeah, like shogi almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so what would an ability like that be called? It would almost just have to be like chess or something like that, like board games.
I
Oh,
wonder. Let me look up if there is a proper kanji for board game.
there has to be a proper kanji for board games, I would assume. I almost think it would be something
Mm,
something along the lines of shogi, or although significantly and culturally, are geishas also courtesans?
no, apparently there's ego, which is a Go, that Chinese game,
Right.
but a proper kanji just for a board game, I can see it. Maybe it's a little more obscure, but I can find it.
Yeah, there has to be something that, because like Hokazona's very intentional, you know what I mean? Like every choice of kanji he uses is so intentional and very telling. That's why he never gives us character names, because once we know the name of a character, we can figure out the role in the story. You know what I mean? Like Rokuhira,
That's a really good point I didn't think about.
like
Fuck, I
Roku.
didn't think about it.
Yeah, like Rokuhira. The name Rokuhira literally means the number 6 and the word hero. Which, how many enchanted blades are
And
there?
how?
6.
Yeah,
And what is he considered after the war? A hero. It just
a war
fits.
hero.
Exactly. Exactly. It just fits. You know what I mean? So, like, that's why we don't know the names
Yeah.
of, like, the higher up Kamunabi members yet. Because if we did, we'd already know what they were going to be doing in the story.
You know Kohei Horikoshi, the author of My Hero Academia.
So, I actually have not watched or read My Hero Academia yet. So, don't spoil it for me.
No, no, just the names. For example, the main character is named Midoriya,
Yeah,
and Midori,
Midoriya.
Midori,
Yes.
Midori is green, and he has green hair. So
Yup.
yeah, there.
I thought that was
Or
cool.
Denki.
It made me think of Kuroko no Basket, if you've ever seen it.
Uh, Certainly no.
Yeah, so there's a character named Midorima, and he's got green hair. And I'm pretty sure that for the Ma kanji, they use the kanji for glasses, so it just his name is literally green hair glasses.
For, for another example, Denki Kaminari literally means uh, Kaminari is it's, sorry, just a second.
No, you're
I
good. You're
remember
good.
the name.
We've got plenty of time.
Uh, you know Folgore.
Sorry,
You
what
know
was?
that one. Like, what is the main name? The first name of the queen, the star. Lightning. Lightning. Yeah. Kaminari
Oh,
is lightning. Denki is electricity, and he's a character has who manipulates electricity.
yes. Okay. Okay.
In My Academia, the names are literally what the characters are. So,
Oh, that's so cool. So it's kind of like what Hokazona's doing with his writing.
but one thing that I like about Okazono is that he's not putting the name in our faces with a direct meaning. There is some more obscure meaning.
Yeah, like okay, so what does Azami's name mean again? We might have to find out because
Uh,
I know his
just
name
like,
is something important.
let me look up his name in kanji.
Because I'm pretty sure that Azami's name has something to do with his powers. We just don't know yet.
All right, I found it. It's written with with the radicals of grass, fish, and ri. Let me search mm, what it means. Uh, I don't know what it is, but it's thistle. Thistle.
Thistle. It's a type of plant. It's so
Oh,
yeah, so it's you ever been walking through a field and you get those really prickly plants that stick to your pant legs?
Oh,
Yeah, that's what a thistle is. So, his name, like, it's very spiky. we can just say that.
spiky, sticky.
Oh man, thistle. That's an interesting choice. Let's see. There's got to be some significance to that.
Yeah.
So the significance of a thistle in Japanese culture. Let's see what it says. Is an ancient Celtic symbol of nobility and character. Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
that's because he's one of the strongest according to
Everybody.
Sojo.
He's one of the strongest according to everybody. Like, I'm pretty sure him and Shiba sit at the absolute pinnacle of sorcery.
Shiba, even Yura himself, when he was at the park, he said that he alone stands at the top of sorcery.
Which, so like, Shiba's getting played up to be like a Sukuna type of character almost, just maybe not evil. You know what I mean? He's gonna be that guy.
Maybe more Gojo. He teleports too, so
Yeah, he probably would be more like Gojo, actually. And I almost feel like his powers are kind of like Gojo's too. Like they have to have something to do with like space time or gravity or something like that. You know what I mean? Because Hokazono thought he was
I
slick.
think that.
Hokazono thought he was so slick when he showed us that panel of the aftermath of Shiba 1v3ing the toe during the Rakuzaichi
Oh,
arc.
right.
You see the
Hold on,
craters
let
and
me. Do you remember which chapter it was?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Like, what chapter was it in? Do you remember it?
Let me think. It was right around when Chihiro met Yura for the first time. I can't remember what chapter that is.
Like 39, maybe?
Yeah,
Around that.
something like that. It was the same chapter that Shiba was about to stick a cigarette right in Tenri's eye.
Let me look up just a second. Oh, it appears not. Wow, the Rakuzaichi was longer than I remembered. In chapter 39, there's already Kyora versus Chihiro.
Oh, dang, that is a lot longer than I remember because Sojo arc ended after chapter 18 or 19 or something like that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and
Damn, we've been with it for
it's
a
crazy to
while.
think that in like a few chapters, half of the whole story of Kagurabachi is the Sword Bearer Assassination arc.
I know. That's it. That is actually crazy. Well, and the Sword Bearer Assassination arc is going insane right now. Like, uh, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm a part of the leak culture, and I cannot wait for the leaks for Chapter 78 to
Oh,
come out.
no, no.
I know, it's wrong. It's
If you want
so
to,
wrong, but I'm gonna do it
yeah,
anyways. At least I don't spoil things for people, you know what I mean? Like, I could just go around being, like, posting spoilers, but I don't do that.
right. I found it. It's in chapter 33. And yeah,
30?
we can see
Damn, that far back, huh?
33. Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, as you see the panel though with
and
like all
yeah,
the
I can see.
craters and there's like craters and like you can see
Yeah,
where what's her face got dragged through concrete like it was water.
yeah, that's NG Sazanami.
Yeah, and he Enji says, in the words of the great Enji Sazanami himself, he's no mere teleporter.
Yeah,
So we know
but
something's up with Shiba for sure.
up to now we have the off-screen sorcery.
Wait, whose sorcery?
Shiba, the off-screen sorcery.
Off-screen sorcery? Yup.
Yeah.
He's the off-screen merchant. Oh man.
You know what? Yeah, maybe he's not interfering in the Kyoto bloodshed hotel right now because he's hiding Uruha.
Oh, that, or I was thinking, and this better be the answer, but we better get an Azami and Shiba versus Shaku and Yura fight.
I know.
That
I
would
see
be
your point.
that would be
The neutral
so
fact is,
incredible to finally see Azami and Shiba fight together, because you know it's gonna go so hard.
it's going to be so hard that I think it's not yet time.
I know it's gonna
I
happen
think
though. It's got to. Like, I'm pretty sure they're setting up Azami to fight the hat guy with the vines. I'm almost positive that's
the
gonna
right
be.
hand of Yura.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that's who Azami is going to fight. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
But for now, I think that from that crater that Yura was going to extract the Magatsui, I think that Hyuki will come out.
Yes, because Hiyuki is their strongest fighter. She has to be protecting Magatsumi and the Kensei. She would have to be the one.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I would assume, because, like, if I was the Kamunabi, I would send my strongest fighter to, protect that person. And I would also allow her to use Flame Bone way past the torso. Because, I mean, let's just talk about Enkotsu for a second. What do you think it is? Do you think it's Dattenseki related, or do you think it's more of like a yokai?
Oh, that's a good question. Hmm.
I think it's more like yokai related. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of references to demons in Kagurabachi. Like, I mean, they got cannon foddered when they both got their heads cut off at the same time when Chihiro saved Char in the beginning. But they had an ability called Demon
Yeah, I
Cloak. Or like, do
remember.
you remember Kazane Machi, the potential man?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, his ability, Kaichi, specific. He's the one who Ikuto Hagiwara goes, phase 2 Kazane, use it, and then instantly gets sliced up. So Kaichi translates directly to demon monster.
Oh.
And that's supposed to be like one of the Kamunabi's secret weapons. And so I'm almost positive that there's like yokai and spirit related stuff in Kagurabachi, and they just have not gotten to it yet.
Hmm. That's an interesting theory.
Because like
Hmm.
Flamebone is supposed to be specifically like on par at the same level as the enchanted blades. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
So like, yeah, it's something important. The origins of Flamebone are definitely going to be brought into question at some point throughout the story, because you don't just make a nuclear weapon and not question where it came from. You know what I mean?
Listen, I've just looked up if there is some sort of skeleton yokai, and there is. It's called Gasha Doruko, literally translating to ratting skeleton.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. I didn't even realize that before. That's cool. Wow. See the thing
It's
that
written in katakana.
The things you learn
It's
when...
written in hiragana. So
Oh, it's written in hiragana?
sorry, Gashe Doruko, the name of this skeleton yokai.
Huh. That's cool. The things you know when you speak Japanese, it just blows me away sometimes, because like I don't think I would understand Kagurabachi as well as I do without my knowledge of the Japanese language. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry. Let me read you the description of the Gashe Doruko.
Yeah, do it.
The Gashe Doruko is a spirit that takes the form of a giant skeleton made of the skulls of people who died in the battlefield or of starvation/famine.
Ooh.
What
Ooh.
was left on the Shokoku Island?
Lots of skeletons. Oh man. Well, and like the translation, so like malediction, I thought that was really interesting reveal, because like the original kanji they used was kodoku, which if you know what that means, they would take a bunch of poisonous insects and put them in a jar to kill each other, and it would create like a super poison. And it's supposed to be, bring blessings and stuff, but it's also supposed to curse as well. So like the fact that Magatsumi is insect related, and the malediction or kodoku is a very insect related cultural thing, I thought was, it was
It
just a
the
very
kanji
good
is literally
choice.
yeah the kanji is literally three insects.
Right, and all
Mushi mushi mushi.
yep, and all three. Wait, mushi, is that the word for insect?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. That's really cool, because I watched this anime called Mushishi, which was really interesting. If you haven't seen it, you should give it a watch.
No. But there are lots of homonyms in Japanese. As far as I know, it could be even Mu, the Mu from Mugetsu, from Mugen, the Mu that means
Infinite.
less, less like hope, less, uh, that less, and the Shishi uh, which can mean something. Yeah, if it's Mushishi, uh, right here, I could think it could mean that death of insect.
That's crazy, because the show is all about these creatures that are not quite living, but not quite spirits either. They basically just sit closest to the base of the tree of life. So that's a really interesting, like, that's so cool. The things you learn, I love it. Well, and also I think I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I think the kanji they use for shi in mushishi is the kanji for master. So it's like
Master,
yeah, so it's like mushi master. And they use the onyomi
master
pronounce.
of insect.
Yeah, so they use like the onyomi pronunciation, I think. I could be totally wrong.
Hmm.
I'm probably totally wrong. But that's what, in the show, that's what they call a mushi master. They call it a mushishi in Japanese.
Hmm.
Interesting. I think we're getting off topic though. Oh man. So,
Yeah, a little bit.
Hiruhiko. Let's talk about Hiruhiko for a minute. I
All right.
love Hiruhiko, and I loved the choice of kanji that was used for his ability, the blood crane, because Chizuru, I think, just means 1,000 cranes normally, if I'm not wrong. but they used the onyomi pronunciation for the blood kanji, making it Chizuru, blood crane, which was super cool. And I love the way he used his ability too.
In the only fight that we've witnessed of him using the blood crate.
I know, it was the only fight, but it still was so badass. Like, I love how I mean, like, the references to the play, the Kabuki play, and him being like, "You're a Sasuke too, aren't you?" That, I don't know. I got goosebumps when I read that. Because he goes,
I agree.
in a real fight, you can't worry about a few hostages. Which,
True, true.
which, although, let's talk about Chihiro's use of Kuro in that scene, because when he filled the theater with his Kuro and basically used it the same way Hiruhiko was using his blood crane, that was so cool. That when that scene gets animated, it's going to change anime history forever.
And
It's going to be like that one scene from Fooly Cooly.
from what?
FLCL. It's a 6 episode long anime.
Maybe I've just heard of it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, pretty random, but there is one animated fight in FLCL's last episode. And the animation was done so differently from normal fight animation that it literally changed the way animators have been animating fights since.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. I highly recommend you check it out. It's called FLCL.
Hmm. Do you
Now,
remember the fact that Chihiro's eyes are like the Sharingan?
yeah, he's basically got a shutting gun, which, okay, like, I get it,
That's what he used during his fights in the theater.
Yeah, you know, I get it. Like, he's got to have something other than just his sword's sorcery, to be able to like learn so quickly the way he has. But like my question is, if his eyes were so good, how come he didn't learn sooner? You know what I mean? Now, him picking up
Hmm.
the EI white purity style based purely off of sight was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool little detail.
The whole fight with Kuguri is really cool, in my opinion.
Yes, and I love how Koguri was basically like, okay, screw you, like you're doing this all wrong. I'm gonna teach you while we fight. He basically wanted to be his mentor. I love that panel of Koguri's head like about to explode.
That was mm,
It,
that meme.
it
That
was
meme.
probably one of the best, like, it was so good. Like the outer brain was just like food, water, sex, sleep. And then the inner brain was just like sword fight, sword fight, sword fight, sword fight. Oh my god, when Kuguri slashed through that bus though,
Oh,
that was incredible.
that has to be some impact frame in the anime.
Oh, dude, they're gonna have like Cygames Productions is gonna have such a hard time animating this show.
Seeing what they did with the horse anime, I
See,
expect something like that.
yeah, see, like
Better,
I
but
haven't
something like
seen
that.
it, but I've heard it's incredible.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that could work well in a shonen anime.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Well, they're gonna have to animate it like an action movie. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen any of the John Wick movies.
Well, just some random scenes. I've never seen them all.
Yeah, see, I think I've only ever seen the first two, but like the movies like the manga itself is drawn like a John Wick movie. So it's like reading an action movie. It's so cool the way he does it. Like the people animating the
Yeah,
show are going to have such an easy time doing storyboards because he drew it like a storyboard.
yeah. Gazzono himself admitted that John Wick was a great inspiration for Kagurabachi.
Oh, absolutely. And like his fight choreography in Kagurabachi is just so cool. It's so well put together, and you know it's gonna work so well when it's animated. It's gonna be the coolest thing. I cannot wait.
Can we
Abs.
talk a little bit about my wife Toto?
Oh my gosh, your wife Toto. She's got the most useless ability in all of the Hishaku, yet she always seems to show out at the right times. You know what I mean?
Well, we haven't yet seen her ability. Maybe that's just a little bit, a little fraction, the peak of the iceberg.
Yeah, her ability has to have something to do like with like tracking and DNA or something like that. You know, it's pretty cool though.
Mm, I'm more of the she's a vampire squad. I mean, maybe not a literal vampire. Maybe just like a vampire-like clan, like the Kionagi clan.
Right. Well, I was thinking like, so have you ever seen ReZero?
I'm seeing these days. I've just finished season 2.
So maybe she's more of a vampire like Elsa from ReZero,
Hmm.
which would be
She's a lot cuter.
right. Like, you know, she can regenerate and stuff. Because I mean, it's obvious she can fight. She offered Hiruhiko help fighting the hotel people. You know what I mean? And he said no.
Seeing her introduction, it's not. She's not evil. I mean, when I have literally on screen right now. When she was tasting the blood of the girls.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It just like cut off my sound for a second.
Uh, what was the last thing you heard?
Oh, so why is Toto in the Ishaku? She's so nice.
Yeah,
No, I love
that's
that.
a question we could talk about anyone. I mean, like, well, we could figure out why Hirohiko is in the Hishaku,
Right,
but
or even like best Jeanist, the healer guy.
worst genius.
Worst Jeanist. Yeah, exactly. Worst outfit ever in any manga I've ever seen, by the way. Hands down, the worst outfit any character has ever had.
Even worse than the baby from One Piece.
Oh my god, maybe not that bad, but it's pretty close. Oh man.
Yeah, so like,
I love that scene when Toto
I,
is like laying face flat on the ground and Kuguri asks her, "Are you dead?" And she goes, "I'm dead."
Toto, are you alive? I'm dead.
I'm dead. She's just, and then he goes, Iori escaped, and she goes, "No."
I was imagining more like, no.
I know. It was like, it was just like, oh
Oh
no.
no.
Right. Like, now, like, what are the odds, though, that they actually pulled up on the right hotel the first time? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because,
maybe it's because, yeah, maybe, yeah, it's like the Shibuya crossing in Kyoto for sorcerers, so it was the more probable, maybe.
right, because they were already in Kyoto. But, like, she said herself, there's hundreds of these hotels across Japan. We'll just have to check every single one. Which, fucking A, dude, the work ethic, okay, I respect the work ethic there, but that's a lot of that's a lot of time checking hotels. They got lucky it was the first one they checked.
Maybe some other Kishaku are looking in the other hotels.
Oh yeah. Well, and like, okay, so Yura and Hatshaku invading Kamunabi Headquarters. I love how that just got revealed and then forgotten about. Hasn't been talked about by anybody reviewing these chapters since it happened.
But I can see why it's there. We can pull up theories like apples from trees, but it just ends there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like what they're doing. Like, are they there to kill the Kensei? Are they there to retrieve the Magatsumi? What are they doing? You know what I mean? Are they there to steal more Datanseki? Who knows at this point, but whatever they're doing, it's huge. And they're using the distraction of the Bloodshed Hotel to do it, and I can't wait to see where they go with that.
Didn't they clearly say that they're there to collect the Shinuchi, or am I just
You,
being schizophrenic?
you know, that would be the assumption. I would assume that they're there to collect the Shinuchi, but because you know they show the Shinuchi under seal and how it's being sealed. So the assumption would be yes, they're there to collect the Shinuchi, but at the same time, like, what can they do with it before they kill the Sword Saint?
Yeah,
Now let's just be real here for a second. The Sword Saint has to be related to Sojo in some way, shape, or form. Am I right?
I agree.
Absolutely, because I mean,
Maybe
Genichi
that's
Sojo's
why it,
his name
go go go
itself
go
means like twin castles or something like that.
Twin Tower. No, I mean uh, yeah, maybe that's the reason the Hishaku pulled up on Sojo.
Right. That's that might be the reason they gave him Kuregumo after Misaka was killed.
Yeah,
Because that was like
that's
that
that's
was one of the huge questions that Chihiro had was like, why did they give Sojo Cloud Gouger? Why did Sojo have Cloud Gouger if he's not related to the Hishaku? Well,
exactly.
if he's related to the Sword Saint, that would make much more sense. And the Sword Saint was Kunishige's closest ally. Watch, it's Chihiro's uncle.
Actually, not Kunishiguro Kukira.
Right. It's gonna be his uncle the whole time. He's gonna be like, Chihiro, I am your second uncle twice removed.
My what?
Oh man.
It's gonna be absolutely nuts when we finally get that reveal, because the lore drops in this arc have been insane, and yet we still don't know nearly enough.
Yeah.
Like, we have not. We know so much now. We know so much, but we still don't know enough.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna get another flashback before this arc ends?
Hmm.
I
Honestly,
hope we do.
what I wish is more bonus chapters.
Yeah, like the Sojo
Like,
bathhouse chapter.
yeah.
God, I love that. We were talking about that on yesterday's episode too, about how much we loved that chapter, and how like everything was going wrong for Sojo. They were out of his favorite milk. They had mentholated shampoo. Everything was wrong, but yet he was still so happy to be getting his hands on Kurigomo.
Yeah, that's basically autistic behavior,
Yeah.
but in a good way.
I think that's why I love Sojo so much, because I am autistic as hell, and I so relate to that. Well, you know what we need to get a bonus chapter of? We need to get a bonus chapter of Kunishige creating N10, or something like that.
No, we need that bonus chapter of Shiba and Kunishige in their young age.
Oh my, katana. Oh my, Azami is just spitting out his drink. Yeah, because remember that was Azami's, like, his cell phone wallpaper or something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, we need to get that bonus chapter of just that scene right there. that
And
would that would be incredible. Oh my god.
I I could compare these three to something in Serve Up, but nobody has read it, so whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I feel like I'm missing something about this chapter or this arc. Oh, Yura on the rocking horse was just, it was so hard. That was so hardcore. Yura just sitting on a
And yet,
playground.
and yet, it was a genius move from Hokazono
It
because we focused on the hey, Yura is behaving like a child, and we did not focus on the fact that Yura was basically telling us that Samura was a traitor. I mean, he said, "Don't worry, we have a trump card,"
yes.
and then we,
Everyone was so focused on him saying that Shiba was the pinnacle of sorcery, nobody even noticed that he basically was ratting out Samura as the traitor.
exactly.
Oh, that scene was insane. The foreshadowing, too, in that scene was just crazy. Like, he foreshadowed a Shiba fight. We know we're gonna get a really crazy Shiba fight. Hopefully, he doesn't die, because Shiba's like my favorite,
No,
one of my favorite characters. I really hope he survives throughout the whole story. But at this
I
point,
mean,
I think Shiba's throwing up death flags.
how?
So, so the whole scene with Yura sitting on the rocking horse, talking about how Shiba is the absolute pinnacle of sorcery, and they've been having trouble making their way around him, is it basically like he's talking about how they are setting up Shiba for failure. They're trying to figure out how to get around him. Basically, they're trying to figure out how to set him up to die so that he's not a problem anymore. And so I think that's
Hmm.
for me, that's the biggest death flag that's been thrown up, is that they're actively trying to get him out of the picture. And when the Hishaku wants something done, they get it done.
Hmm.
Although, I don't know.
It reminds me of Aizen. Aizen. Have you
He
watched Bleach? Yeah.
Yes, he does remind me of Aizen. It's his foresight and his planning. He plans for every
Do you
eventual
remember?
possibility.
Do you remember Wonder Wise Margera,
Yes,
the
yes.
Sailor car?
Wonder Wise,
He was
that's who Yamamoto fought, correct? In the Fate Karakura town.
be, because uh, Wonder Wise was built to defeat Yamamoto because Yamamoto was a great danger for Aizen.
Yeah, he was
So
gonna
maybe
he's
he
gonna
was something like that.
Ooh. Maybe he's literally shaping one of the characters up to be somebody who can kill Shiba.
Hmm.
Now, we know there's something going on with Hatshaku because of his eye. So maybe that has something to
Yeah,
do with
his
it.
eyes.
He's got like the one eye and it's always bloodshot. It's like sclera.
Yeah,
So I almost wonder if that has something to
and
do with it.
uh, you know Byakugan.
Yeah, like yeah, from Naruto, yeah.
Yeah, the veins around the eyes.
Oh my god, that's a detail I never noticed before. The base of around the eyes are kind like the veins. Yeah, they pop out. Just like the Byakugan. Whoa. I
Yeah.
almost. Do you think that's how he knew where to grow the tree when they were invading the Kamunabi headquarters?
Hmm. Yeah, maybe he's something like, well, there's in real life there's this thing called the Wood Wide Web. Basically, all the trees in a forest are connected
Yeah.
uh,
Yes, it's an entire
with
forest. It's all one organism. And it's connected through a
yeah.
mycelium
It's not
network.
exactly.
Yes, okay, that's actually really cool. So, like, what if it's something like that? He can connect to, like, the vine and root networks that grow around him.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's an interesting theory, too. There's so many.
and
I know that once we know his name, we'll be able to figure it out.
let me tell you something. Do you remember how the the Shinichi was sealed?
Yes, with the ropes around the box. They were like,
The ropes,
yeah,
and then there's some like uh, cage of the wood around it.
yes.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now. There is it's enclosed in a temple-like wood structure. What if the Kamunabi traitors said, yeah, we build it like that so that Hatshaku could dance it?
Oh, like they built it in a certain way so that he could get into it, infiltrate, do whatever he needed to do.
Yeah,
Whoa. Oh man, we could go on forever like this.
we could even talk about Ura's eyes that are the Makima eyes, the typical manipulator eyes.
You know, that's yes. I have a theory though that Yura's ability is something along the lines of like Crollo Lucifer from Hunter x Hunter.
What was for
He
the
he can
fishes?
yeah, he can steal people's abilities.
Hmm,
Or like maybe he's
I
got
don't
like
know.
a Yuta Okotsu type ability where he can copy people's abilities or something like that.
I mean, it could be cool, but I don't really see it as an final boss ability.
Yeah, it is a cool theory, but I don't think it holds much weight.
Hmm.
No, I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait until we meet the other sword bearers because you know Chihiro is gonna learn some sick sword styles.
Subaru looking like Omni-Man.
Dude, oh my god, he does look like Omni-Man.
Are you
Oh,
sure?
dude, oh man, that's crazy. Well, I think Subaru's sword might have something to do with the. Well, I initially thought it would be like a fire ability because of the burn on his face, you know what I mean?
That's a bird?
Yeah, Subaru has a big burn on his face.
I've always seen it like just a really big scar, not a burn scar.
Yeah, no, I always thought it was like a burn scar. I could be totally wrong, but that's what it looked like to me at least. Which would explain, like.
I'm more,
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm more interested in the girl.
Me too. I love how her sword has to do something with like mist. Because like,
Miss?
yeah, so have you
Why
know
miss?
so you notice how remember back in our conversations a while ago when I was like I need to know the translations for the shrines that they stay at?
Yeah?
So the shrines that they were housed in, the translations for them were like very telling as to like they were very like related to the characters themselves as people.
Let me. Okay, I found the message.
And so like the Kuen Taisha shrine is where the girl stays, and that means like the Grand Mist Shrine or the Great Mist Shrine.
Yeah, the Grand Smoke 9. There's 9 too.
Yeah, the kanji for 9. So like maybe, her power has something to do with like smoke or mist. Kind of like Muichiro from Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which, would be really cool. Although I picture her sword style being kind of like a Sakura dance. Like, have you ever seen the video game
Mm.
Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice?
Editor seen it.
I kind of picture her sword style to be something like the Sakura dance from that game. Very fluid, spinning, dance-like motions. Lots of aerial combat, stuff like that. That's kind of how I picture her fighting style.
Now, more maybe I'm just schizo. But do you remember the girl from the anti-Sojo squad?
I don't think I do.
Uh, it's the girl with wasn't she that the one with the earth manipulation?
Oh, Gansui.
Yeah,
Gansui
isn't
girl.
it hers? Doesn't she look like
Yeah,
the left Sword Bearer?
I thought she might have been related to her in some way when I first saw the picture of the sword bearer.
Yeah, maybe it's just me tweaking, but
No, I don't think you're tweaking because Hokazono does everything on purpose.
and well, yeah, we know that what was her name? Inori?
Yeah,
Yori's mother.
yeah,
We know that
Inori.
first also the Kamunabi. Maybe she's the girl from the higher ups.
Ooh. So personally, I think Inori's sister is the higher up Kamunabi member, the female higher up.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
So that would be really cool, actually. That would be an absolutely incredible reveal.
And would make perfect sense.
Now imagine if she is also the one who sold out Kunishige.
It
That
would be a reason why Yura went to Samura and not to some
not
other.
exactly. That's what I'm saying, because she could have provided Yura the information that Samura had regrets about what happened,
Yeah, Samura,
and she is one of the
you
few
know your
people.
sister, Samura, your sister-in-law. Yeah, she helped me.
Right, and we also know that she took in Iori at one point as well.
When?
Um, so when Samura eventually left Iori, he left her with her aunt, who worked for the Kamunabi, and then the Masumi came to erase her memories.
Oh, I didn't remember it.
Yeah, that was one of those things in this most recent flashback.
Hmm.
Well, I think that almost wraps up. I'd say that pretty much wraps up. We've pretty much discussed the entirety of the Sword Bearer Assassination arc. Do you think we missed anything?
I mean, we could talk about all of the planets one by one, from how much depth there is in each one of them.
Right.
But
I think we got most of the important points though, yeah?
yeah, yeah. Honorable
Well,
mention to my goat Sengoku.
dude, I know. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to the goat Sengoku. Didn't even last a couple panels. Well, I think that is going to wrap up this episode. Thank you all the listeners who decided to join the Kamunabi Headquarters. And as always, I will say stay frosty. Remember, the bridges might be icy. And for those who might be listening on Serafino's channels in Italy, I will say, how do I say that again? I will say, arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Thanks everybody who made it to the end of the video. My name's Karasu. I'd like to also give a thanks to Mikey, my editor, and big shout outs to Glowplasma and Calcan 7. Go ahead and go check out their channels. They do a lot of Kagurabachi stuff that's really cool. And big thanks to my friend Edo Serafino from Italy. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Till next time.